Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Duck Chronicles, and we're over here in my west pasture. We'll see the ducks in a second, but I want to show you kind of a way we're using the ducks right now to deal with the situation that we have to deal with, and we have to deal with carefully. I rehabbed this field, and you can see the grass in this field is really tall. I mean, it's up to my thigh, but it's a little thin, and it's mostly annual brome and annual rye. We do have some understory coming in below it, but this field was brown dirt when we moved in, and it was in really sad shape just back in August, and it looks pretty good now. You'd think we might want to cut that, but here's the deal. These are well-formed seed heads, and if I run that over with a mower, I'm going to shatter a lot of those seeds. I'm also going to cut all of this organic matter to really small pieces. It's going to go to the ground, it's going to dry it, it's going to oxidize really fast. It's also not a high quality browse, so the ducks are only going to eat so much of it. What they're going to do is go down deep and find the tender spots. So what I need is a way to get this to the ground without obliterating it. And I don't want to do all that work. So let me show you what we're doing. We're getting the ducks to do it. This looks grazed, but it's really not. All that grass is there. It's put down, folded over as mulch. Some of it's dead and died off, some of it hasn't. The younger shoots are still growing. And you can see the difference from right there to right here where they've worked. Well, how do you get them to work? Well, you get them to work two different ways. Their pools and their sprouts. So I just moved, their pools were there yesterday, so they did all that for me. And today they just got out here this morning, so they're just starting. But they'll flatten all this. And there'll be clumps that are still high, and we'll figure out how to deal with them as we go, because they're only going to be here a couple more days. And there's an awful lot of field here. Well, boy, I'll tell you what, you really want them to flatten a spot? Put their breakfast sprouts there. See that path there? That is the sprout path from this morning. So everything's doing good here, but we are heading into that harsh time of year really, really quickly. We want to show you our little duck poop water drain system. Has these Antonovka apples just blown and going. These are full-size apple trees. These get huge. They'll probably be somewhat dwarfed here because of the rock, but they'll still be big trees. These are from Grant Schultz at New Farm Supply. We see we've got the ear pans with them. Those really help to heal a tree in well. And we've got things going really good there. Got another one down there, and just for a little diversity, right there, that's a red mulberry. You ducks are going to have red mulberries. How you doing, buddy? That's Elvis. Elvis is having a discussion with his girls. All right, so let's go see the baby gooses, who aren't looking so baby anymore. I mean, they're really growing fast. To deal with it as I deal with the gate here, folks. One-handed cameraman. This gate's a little bumbly. But over here, you know, the wife mowed yesterday, and this grass is a lot more resilient. There's a lot more perennials in it. So we're able to do that. I've actually been going into these berms all around the property where I won't let her go near it with her weed eater, because that's what she wants to do. I do it with a sickle, a scythe, or a hand sickle. But I've been collecting a lot of this, and you can see the difference in this grass. This was planted at the same time, and it's just a much better established pasture. It's got seed heads on it too. They're not quite as developed. It's not as stressed, so it doesn't feel a need to finish its annual cycle as quickly as some others. So we're walking through here, look at some stuff here. This little bush cherry here, look at that. Bush, that's a tree. That's a Hanson's bush cherry. Got some cherries this year. Muscadine's looking good. These trees are in training. Goomy is looking really good. Covered with little bitty berries. So good progress on some stuff not as happy as others, but blackberries coming on strong. Little peach there. Let's go find the giant baby gooses. we get the ducks about the size of these gooses, they're going all over to the new flock. I'm not going to be worried about the cats messing with them anymore. Of course, the gooses will be 3 times their size in another 2 weeks. Hey, babies. So the only thing I don't like right now is I'm using this quail aviary as a brooder, and it's not the way I had planned. So they're spending more time in one section than I want them to. But everybody's doing good. You can see the grass down. I've been bringing them about 2-3 wheelbarrows full a day, both as mulch and as food. They get really happy when I bring it. We're still friendly. We still play with my feet and my legs. We're still working on that flock bond. Little ducks moving around with the gooses. Where are you guys? I guess they're in the shade. Yeah, they're all in the shade. On the other, you can see I got the first shade cloth up on the aviary, right? And it's a short one. It's only 14 foot long, so it doesn't quite get to the end. I got 2 more coming that are 16 foot long. It'll go almost all the way to the far end. I had one. Let's look at the gooses. I had one, and or I have one that is 16 foot wide by 50 foot long, which would cover this in one fell swoop. It's 50% shade cloth, and it's nowhere near as durable as the 70% one you just saw. And when we tried to put it on here, it was a disaster. I was going to have a shade cloth party, have about 10 people over to do it, and then I realized they'd just be better off with more shade and having, see these gaps, because it's only 12 feet, so it leaves a 3-foot gap on both sides. This is actually perfect. So I ordered 2 more longer panels, a little bit longer than these. They're easy to put up because the 70% stuff doesn't hang. I mean, it's really, really tough, and it doesn't get stuck on the hardware cloth. And with the smaller sections, if you want to roll one side up, it's not a big deal to roll one side up. So we're going to go with those. So now I have this 50 foot by 16 foot 50% shade cloth. And 50% shade cloth is wonderful for growing plants under in the heat of Texas. So what I'm thinking about doing is building another structure just like this one without the doors and all of the dividers and complicated, just a big long grow tunnel, and not putting any hardware cloth on it, just using the cattle panels. And with that, it'll be easy to get that 50% shade cloth on there because, well, there won't be a bunch of stuff for it to get hung up on. It'll be a nice smooth top right there because you can see we set the candle panel so they got the smooth side up. And you'll be able to get inside here. That's probably going batty with your eyes. You'll be able to get inside here and work it down. So then I would have a 50 foot, and I'd only go 8 foot wide with it to make the top taller. 50 foot by 8 foot wide grow tunnel with 50% shade cloth. How you doing, quails? I got an important update about quails for you guys with a toxic weed called horse nettle. We'll do that in a different episode though. But anyway, I'd have that 50 foot long by 8 foot wide grow tunnel, and I would just do something here at the ends to keep the ducks from getting in, you know, just a low wall basically and a small low door. And then the rest of it just be wide open to the other end the same way. So it would be real easy to construct. I could probably build it in a day by myself because it wouldn't be all the complications and engineering that went into this. And then just put 2 foot wide raised beds all the way down both sides. That's one idea I have to use that. And then I would have, what would it be, 2 by 50, 100, 200 square foot of growing area under this beautiful shade. And guys, it's so beautiful under this shade. It really is. Or the other option is to do something with aquaponics inside that tunnel. But we got to figure out where we're going to locate the tunnel now. So I'm really thinking initially, I was thinking about doing it right here, just so there's 2 of them side by side. But I got this big tree here, and that 50% shade is great. This would be too much shade in this area for a grow tunnel. But if I clear this out here, go right down this fence line, and it'd be narrower than this. So if we move it right up to the same point of the fence, it would only come out to about here. We have to prune out all that, get rid of all that junk. That's got to go anyway. And that would still let me be able to get a vehicle to this barn if I need to. The beauty of it is I've already got water plumbed right here. We got temporary electric. We're going to be running actual power, dedicated power out here. We've got rain catchment tanks here and here. I could probably produce more food in that one tunnel than my wife and I could ever use. And it'd be really cool. We would go with all of our low-growing vegetables to the front, high-growing vegetables to the rear. We could do tomatoes and squash and beans right up on the back side of the tunnel. So that's probably what we're going to do with it. But I do have some thoughts about maybe dropping a couple IBC totes in there and growing some fish as well. And exactly how to do that, I'm not sure, because there's not going to be a lot of distance. If you go 2 feet and 2 feet, you've only got a 4-foot center. If you put an IBC tote in the center of that thing, you wouldn't be able to get around it. They're about 4 feet wide. So I would have to actually maybe dedicate half of it to aquaponics, or maybe just we would call it aquaculture, and then the other half of it to grow beds. There's a lot of other ways we could do that. We could give up some grow beds and recess some IBCs in between and have them to the back side, but we'll let you know how that goes. But I think that's going to be the location right there, because that will make it where I do not have to do any major pruning of this tree or that tree down there, and I'm really happy with the way those trees are. Anyway, we'll catch up with you next time on another episode of the Duck and Goose Chronicles.